hello, my darlings. I hope you all are doing well, better than me, that is, as I have caught a fine old cold from my little human petri dish, my little gremlin. So I am here today with a cold to talk about how much of a moron our favorite Raggedy Duchess truly is. The same Raggedy Duchess who has always stated she hates the UK. She doesn't like anything about the UK. They were so mean to her. They caused her so much stress and so much pain. And oh my goodness, how could she ever live? But darlings, we need to get into this absolute nonsense that Meghan decided to share yesterday, because our deliciously handsome 6'3", yummy blue-eyed prince, soon to be king, is in Rio. So let me just start there for a second. And let me just show some images of the handsome Prince William, yum, 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 in Rio. And clearly the Brazilian cannot get enough of handsome Prince William. Brazilians are very touchy. They are very sensual people. So Catherine, come get your man, okay? Because look at this, guys. I bet you if Harry tried it, he would complain about PTSD. I'm Brazilian. Look, I love Brazilians. Some of my closest friends are Brazilian. Just the most, every culture has their type of people where they are just so sweet, so caring, and the food, my God, the food is so good. But yes, Brazilians and Rio loves Prince William. He was bestowed the key to the city of Rio earlier by the mayor. So yes, he is. You forgot his brother was voted 25th hunkiest male of all time. Was that the poll that was done by the blind, deaf, and the mute? Was that that was the poll done by the blind, deaf, and the mute? That's why Harry landed at 25. Oh dear, but look at William here. He is enjoying it. I am so happy. I love what William has been doing with the Earthshot Prize. Catherine has nothing to worry about. William is an honorable man, a real gentleman. Yeah, definitely. We all know that. And plus, I think William would be quite stupid to do something like that, because you know how quick it would get in the news and into the press? Let's be honest. But William has kicked off the Earthshot Prize this year in Rio. They are there celebrating for the entire week. And you know what? Of course, when his brother is out and about doing something, El Pendejo, okay, this little petulant little shit, Prince Harry, has decided to release some news that he will be in Canada on Wednesday to mark the beginning of Remembrance Day. Canadians, you should, especially Torontonians, those who live in Toronto, please ask, why is Harry coming there when he basically, he was wearing an LA Dodgers hat? Since when does he care about Canadians? He doesn't. But the guy who talks about your carbon footprint is jetting all the way to Toronto to pretend that he is a royal, to cosplay a royal, which is why, in my opinion, Harry needs to have his titles stripped. This petulant little weasel needs to be stripped of everything, because this is what Harry will be doing for the rest of his life. He is now following Meghan Markle's PR playbook by tagging on and tagging along the coattails of his brother that he's always been jealous of. Now, let me ask this of the royal family. Is Harry still a working member who is still representing King Charles? Because why is Harry going to Toronto to do something for Remembrance Day when he hasn't done anything for the many, many, many years? You are funny for saying pendejo. Am I saying it properly? I hope so. But yeah, he's definitely chasing photographers. And you're right, photographers are chasing William. William doesn't need to call in a crowd to come and say hello to him. William doesn't need to pretend to use other people's paparazzi photos to make it look like he is being harassed and followed. But Torontonians, please do complain to your city council. Please do complain to your mayor. Who invited Harry? Why is Harry going? And if they want to claim on behalf of Invictus, screw Invictus. I want to know if Harry is going there on the behalf of Invictus. Invictus Games has some answers for this man's questions. Because what happened? Many of you will remember how I told you guys the story of Scott Snow, the veteran who went to the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf, was injured, and the Invictus team, they have completely ignored him. They have completely ghosted him. They have not done anything for this man. But here, let me play this clip for you guys. Scott Snow here had an interview with CTV Global Canada, and I did take this from them. I hope they allow me to use it, but if I have to clip it out later, then I will. But watch what he says here. Watch this.
Grab my crutches, please.
Scott Snow spent 14 years in the Navy, retiring with multiple injuries, depression, and PTSD. While competing at the 2023 Invictus Games in Germany, he fell hard, injuring his head, neck, and shoulder.
Canada's Scott Snow takes a tumble out of his chair.
By the time he returned to...
You know what's crazy is that these chairs, don't they usually have like a safety netting or something that goes higher back, especially when they're playing games like this? Is there not more safety devices for these chairs? Because look at the way Scott fell here. Not only did he fall backwards, but he slammed his head on the ground. And not once do you see any medical team run towards this gentleman.
Takes a tumble out of his chair.
By the time he returned to Canada, he lost sensation in his hands and feet. Serving
no medical team. He got up himself, got onto his chair. Nobody cared. And this is the sad thing about humanity these days, is that people watch someone get injured and they don't do shit about it.
And feet. Serving Canadian Forces members at the Invictus Games are medically insured, but veterans like Scott are not.
For the rest of their life.
Did you get that? So let me play this again, because Invictus Games has a 2-tier insurance coverage for veterans who are competing and current veterans. Watch this.
At the Invictus Games are medically insured, but veterans like Scott are injuring his head, neck, and shoulder.
Canada's Scott Snow takes a tumble out of his chair.
By the time he returned to Canada, he'd lost sensation in his hands and feet. Serving Canadian Forces members at the Invictus Games are medically insured, but veterans like Scott are not.
For the rest of their life, they're covered any expenses, any modifications, and I have to rely on...
So isn't that crazy? If you're a serving member of the Canadian Armed Forces, you will forever be covered. But if you're a veteran who doesn't serve anymore, you got to figure out your own way. So what do all the donations and all the money that the Invictus Games has taken in, what is it being used for? It should be used for situations like this, should it not?
My credit card.
Snow and other veterans on the team in 2023 say they weren't fully briefed on what insurance they'd need to cover injuries sustained in competition.
It was just a passing point. We were never taken aside to explain.
Now, 2 spinal surgeries later, he's paid thousands in assisted living costs, but can't afford prescribed vision therapy. Soldier On, a Canadian Forces program, manages Canada's Invictus team with funding from Veterans Affairs Canada. Snow says he's asked Soldier On for help, but has yet to receive a callback.
I just assumed that when we got our own travel insurance, if something serious happened, that the team and organization would help.
They're not providing insurance to veterans is really just a most heinous, icing on a cake.
Veterans Affairs says it will work to resolve the problem before Canada opens the 2025 Games in Whistler, BC.
And that has never happened. They didn't resolve anything. They never reached out to him. Absolutely fuck all has been done to help this gentleman. And who knows how many other situations like this has arisen since Harry and Meghan have taken over the Invictus Games and turned it into their own personal piggy bank. Soldier On, with the helps of the Sussex Squad and Sussex Squad event community, donated and raised a lot of money. Where did that money go? I know that Peace Odetero, who is now slowly stepping back, was in charge of media connections and who was donating and stuff, and did make a kind of like I showed you guys where she made like a mirroring website from Soldier On, basically mirroring the Soldier On website, where then you can donate, but then who knows where the money was going at that point. Yeah, complete fraud. They were still, so they can afford millions of dollars to spend or hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on the janky ass clothing and security and bullshit, and over $200,000 for accommodations for Meghan and Harry and all that crap, while the actual veterans, the ones who served, are suffering still.
Without committing to a timeline, National Defense said Soldier On will look at what additional coverage could be added to fill gaps for participants.
Additional coverage? How about you pay for it out of your own pocket? How about that? How about you use the donation money that you're giving to your high-end CEOs and board members and take care of this man who basically did his duty and served this country, the country that you are now pilfering money from.
After the event, Snow says the Invictus Games was an inspiring experience, but Team Canada has left him feeling betrayed.
It was just fed to us that, like, we're a team, we're here for you forever.
And you're not.
And then just to leave, it tore like a piece of my heart that I don't know if it'll ever.
Peter Zamanian, CBC.
I feel bad for this guy. Every time I see this, like, I've got goosebumps right now. Like, it pulls at my heartstrings. It makes me sick that they are being treated like this. It is absolutely disgusting. Yeah, H is no longer royal. Stop placating the idiot. They stepped back, right? They left. They didn't want to be part of the royal family anymore. It was too much for them. But they're doing now exactly what Fergie and Andrew have done. This broke my heart when I saw it. And as many times as I can, I will keep bringing this man's story to the forefront until he gets some kind of help and some kind of aid, because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. So from one moron to the other moron, shall we? Weren't those chairs second rate with missing safety features? That's what I'm saying. I swear, like those chairs that they used for wheelchair Olympics or wheelchair games, there's like a safety netting that comes to the top of their shoulders almost to help them. I don't get it. Yeah. Kids Irrelevant says, and doing it totally out loud in the face of the royal family, and nothing is done. They've been doing it since they left. Haven't they? I mean, they've been doing it since Meghan came into the royal family, since Harry brought this degenerate, low-life leech into the family. Because let me remind you guys, when Harry and Meghan left the royal family, we couldn't hear enough about how much Meghan despised the UK, how much she hated being there, despite the fact the UK and the royal family are the exact reason why you are where you are today, the reason why you have a platform and you keep getting all these connections that you should have never had opportunities given to you in the first place. Meghan Markle literally spits on the royal family every time she gets a chance, despite calling herself the Duchess of Sussex. Now, the interesting thing is that one of my secret squirrels pointed out to me, hold on, IMDb. Let me look up Meghan Markle. Let me see. Does she have it as the Duchess of Sussex? Hold on. Because I know that, you know how Meghan claims that the Duchess of Sussex is now her legal name, right? I feel like she's trying, obviously she thinks that's her brand. She thinks that being the Duchess of Sussex, since she has nothing else to give, has a brand or anything. Hi, is the same company that sells Soldier On coffee. No, I don't think this is a totally this company is this company is set up in Canada, I think. So Soldier On is completely separate from Soldier On coffee. Totally two different entities. Okay, my darling? I hope that clears it up. But let me just have a sip of my ginger water here because I can feel my throat is about to go. Sorry. So, our Raggedy Duchess, who hates everything about the UK but is building a brand on basically commercializing everything to do with the UK, their cultures, their customs, and traditions, right? So Meghan releases these shitty candles that evoke walking through a British countryside. This is the same British countryside that you called everyone a racist, right? This is the same British people that you make fun of. But now, Meghan, being the dumbass that she is showing us, my darlings, how to boil water. Well, she doesn't even boil water, okay? It's like tepid, hot water, but it's not boiling. But we all have heard of simmer pots, right? We all have made simmer pots where we take a pot of hot water, throw some spices in it to make the house smell good. Women have been making simmer pots if you go as far back as the 1800s. I don't know if Meghan is trying to put women back in the 1800s, but apparently this dumbass who claimed that she was going to modernize the monarchy is serving people simmer pot water. I'd like to give a huge shout out to the sinner on St. Meghan Markle Reddit community who actually was the inspiration for calling it potpourri water, because that is what it is. They are the one who called it potpourri water, and Meghan showed us that, look, when you have guests over, you should serve them potpourri water. But let me just show you what Meghan said just a couple days ago when she took over Courtney Adams, or as she likes to call herself, Adamo, to sound more exotic. Who is from the Scripps family, whose family also owns one of the largest tulip farms in North America. So she is made from billions and billions on both ends. We all remember when Meghan hijacked her event, her book release, and decided to make a big stink about how serving 6 to 8 cups of tea was just too much work. But watch this.
I love people being able to serve themselves and having things on the stove that everyone can help themselves to. So yes, for example, you could say, hi, can I get you a cup of tea? That's a lot of work if you have 6 to 8 people coming through. You could equally say,
I like, look at Victoria's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then even Courtney's face is like, bitch, shut up. This is supposed to be my time. What are you talking about? 6 to 8 cups of coffee is too difficult to make. Boiling water is too hard to do, Meghan, right?
oh, on the stove, there's a pot of spiced cider brewing, and there's a whole tray of mugs there. Help yourself. Take your shoes off, get cozy. Board games are out.
Good tip.
Yeah.
That's such
All
a
of
good
those
tip.
things where it takes.
Let me just say that if you are hosting friends for like, hey, come over, have a pot of tea with me, come and have some drinks with me, would you need to set up your mugs and your stuff the day before? No, bitch, you lazy. You're lazy. Just get it out like 20 minutes before they come. Or if you're so pressed for time, grab it in the mornings. Or like, this just to me shows that Meghan Markle does not entertain. She never has people over. She does not have friends over for cups of coffee or tea or whatever, because as we saw in With Love Meghan, we never saw her boiling water or making tea for the staff or for the cameramen or anything, right? Nothing like that at all. But here she wants to pretend like, oh, when people come in and make their own pot. First of all, when people come to my house, I don't like anyone in my kitchen. Okay, my kitchen is my place. Like, I don't want you in my kitchen. And when you come over, I want to serve you. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, go get it yourself. This isn't a self-serve restaurant. This is me inviting my friends over to make them feel comfortable and have a chat with them. This is ridiculous. And then what does she do? This idiot releases this video. Let me show you guys. Last night, okay? Last night, where let me share with you her recipe for boiling water and flavoring it. Okay, watch this idiot. Now remember, this is the moron that Prince Harry claimed everyone in the royal family was just so jealous Meg could do everything better than them.
Okay, so for holidays, I love having a really cozy, warm beverage that everyone can enjoy. And you could do tea.
You see how she's like, I love having a cozy, warm beverage that everyone can enjoy. In other words, everyone is going to love what I drink because I'm a narcissist and whatever I have is always perfect when really, if this is what you're drinking, bitch, you can keep it.
But you could also do a hot toddy or a spiced cider. I like to make a big pot for everyone. It's so easy. All you do, boil some water.
That water isn't even boiling. That's not even boiling water. So Meghan fails at boiling water.
Enough for 8 servings, 10 servings. Once it's at a boil, turn it down, take the entire contents and let it steep in the pot.
Now, I just want to know, do these, are these bags that she's using because, you know, she's friends with Serena, are they made with cotton? Because I think Serena would be offended if those tea bags or those spice bags are made out of cotton. But also, are there any microplastics in that, Meg, since you like to pretend like you're Mother Earth, Mother Nature, all fantastical?
What happens when you do this? When people come into your house, they go, it smells so good.
That's a
what
simmer
is that?
pot.
Go, oh my gosh, let me offer you a drink. And then I would just.
That's a simmer pot. A simmer pot. You've just warmed up water, thrown in a whole bunch of random shit, and you're going to feed this to your guests? That's why you have no friends.
Just add a couple details here to just embolden the flavor a bit. Honey adds a really special note.
That's a lot of honey.
Cinnamon stick is so nice in there as well.
Now, I do want to ask, since Meghan is a fan of cinnamon sticks, I'm wondering, is Meghan using Saigon cinnamon in that, or is she using Ceylon cinnamon? Because Meghan should know that Saigon cinnamon does, while it does lower your blood sugars and have anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and antibacterial properties, it has a high coumarin content, and you should basically limit your intake to 1 teaspoon of Saigon cinnamon a day. So Saigon cinnamon is also known as Vietnamese cinnamon, for those who don't know. And it is used in a lot of dishes, right? But the thing is, if you use too much of it, just like Meghan's bullshit recipe for her Epsom salt bath, this can turn toxic. If you have more than a certain amount, they say about you should limit yourself to 1 teaspoon of Saigon cinnamon. So 2.5 grams of Saigon cinnamon daily, because if you have it in larger doses, it can be toxic for a person. However, there is the other type of cinnamon, which is Ceylon cinnamon, and that cinnamon is harvested from the more inner bark of the tree, so it doesn't have the toxicity that, like, say, the Saigon cinnamon has. I bet you Meghan Markle has no idea about this. Saigon cinnamon has a higher coumarin content, so it does pose a risk of toxicity. Okay? Obviously, this idiot doesn't know shit. Meghan is trying to kill people, in my opinion.
You smell the cinnamon, you smell that lemongrass.
What lemongrass? Who puts lemongrass in hot toddy? And this is some bullshit honey. Like, what are you talking about? What lemongrass? I didn't see no lemongrass. What? I'm at a loss.
Really special note. Cinnamon stick is so nice in there as well. You smell the cinnamon, you smell that lemongrass. You could also add a spirit of choice to make it a little bit more grown up, but just on its own, it's the most soothing, especially.
I'm sorry, but doesn't a hot toddy come with alcohol in it? Like a cider, or like it's made from like a red wine or something, or even I've had them with like a whiskey. or even bourbon before. Those are really good, but maybe I should have one of those after for my chest here, for my cold. She's making Thai tea. She is literally boiling water, making a simmer pot, and then dumping honey on it and saying, here, give it to people. Serve your friends. This is why Meghan Markle has no friends. Yeah, hot toddy does have alcohol in it. Apple cider with lots of Jack. That sounds great. She is a ding dong, Katie. She totally is. And I just look, this idiot, this is the same idiot that claimed that she wanted to modernize the monarchy. This is the same idiot who thought that she could become president. This is the same idiot who thinks that boiling water, putting a little bit of honey into it, is like she has discovered a cure for Alzheimer's. This is the most basic level bitch stuff that you would do in your house. Like, this is stuff that I would make simmer pots when I was like younger. Okay. When I was in my teens, I make simmer pots once in a while during the Christmas times when I go out to the backyard and I grab the pine needles and everything and I throw them into a pot because I love the smell of pine. I love it. But this is an idiot here. If you want more information about the Saigon cinnamon, here, let me copy the link here. Look, I use cinnamon a lot because I would use it for migraines and headaches. It's something that my mom taught me back when she would get her headaches. But basically you would make like a paste of cinnamon and then you would put a little bit like on your temples and it would heat up and it would almost feel like it was drawing out the headache. I don't recommend it to everyone because everyone's bodies are different. But yeah, like, what is this basic bitch shit? Meghan really left the royal family to make boiling water and to pour some honey and a stick of cinnamon into it. This is shit that was done back in the 1800s. This is stuff that, like, okay, so what? But you know what, guys? This does point out to me how much of a pain in the ass Meghan must have been in the royal family. This raggedy trollop literally thinks that this is what you do to act bougie, to act refined. This is how the aristocratic individuals hang out and behave. No, Meghan, this is your own silly fantasy land reel that you have playing in your brain where you think this is how people of wealth behave, but they really don't. They really don't. I would just be happy with like a bag of Earl Grey tea, okay, instead of this shit. If anything, this would be a diabetic's nightmare. All of that honey that you know is not real honey, it's just processed sugar that's been, I don't know, corn syrup turned into honey. This idiot really thinks that she is elevating life, that her holiday collection is something people will want. But no, we are all laughing at you. We are all laughing at you. Moon Falcon says she tasted egg in the food before the wedding and went off. The queen checked her. Yeah, that was with the staff at the palace. Sorry, that was with the chefs at the palace when she complained, I could taste egg. But you know what's crazy is that if you look up, hold on. If you look up any of Meghan's old TIG recipes on her website, hold on, I just put up the TIG eggs, okay? And let me show you what popped up right away. Because for a bitch who would complain about eggs on her recipe, she sure had no problems sharing a recipe for something called the Queen's eggs back in, when is this? Oh, this is very blurry. Let me get a better image. Here we go. Let's see if that's better. Here. So let me share this one. She says here, I came for the croissants. I stayed for the Queen's eggs. Slow cooked over steam, finished with champagne and topped with lightly cured Ontario trout roe. Can we do this every Sunday? And this was from the TIG. And this was 2015 September. So you don't mind eggs. You love eggs. You were just being a bitch. You were just being annoying from the very beginning. You were just being difficult. This is another one of Meghan's egg dishes. Oh, look, fried eggs over arugula and toast, I guess. I don't know, but this is what she eats. This is her Sunday vibes, home sweet home, and she wants to complain about eggs. The thing that bothers me is that the royal family saw all these red flags from the very beginning and still gave in so much to a raggedy, talentless trollop who showed from day one she has no respect for anyone. I will never understand that. I will never understand. And you can't tell me that, oh, well, Meghan claimed that she was going to call them all racist. I don't care. You can't keep using that as an excuse to give in hand over fist to someone who really is a broad who probably banged Andrew before Harry got the sloppy seconds. That's it. That's it. Anyways, I'm going to get going here. I need to rest my throat. I need to make some more hot ginger liquid here for myself. I just wanted to show you, look, this idiot really thought she could elevate the monarchy. She really thought she could modernize the monarchy when she can't even make a proper hot toddy or water or boil water for that instance, okay? MeghansMole, you have a super, oh, thank you, Gigi. Gigi says, I'll stick to Lipton. Yeah, I'll stick to Lipton too, that's for sure. That's definitely it. But anyways, look, I love lemongrass. Like, I make a really good lemongrass marinade for chicken that I grill. But I go to the Vietnamese store and you buy the lemongrass that has already been ground up and everything. Like, it's already prepared lemongrass. So you don't need to buy the whole stalks and then go at it yourself. But buy it from there, marinate your chicken with some like coconut water, lemongrass, fish sauce, and a couple other things. If you guys want the recipe, I'll give it to you. And it is so good to die for there. But anyways, my darlings, I'm going to get out of here. My throat's starting to give out. Anyways, my loves, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here and allowing me to make fun of Meghan Markle and her inability to even make a proper hot toddy, even her inability to boil water properly. This bitch is a complete failure. But like I said, this is just entertainment for us, my darlings. Anyways, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I will catch you all in the next one, my darlings. Toodaloo. Bye.